Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're opening up a really profound question. One that, well, humanity's always asked. What happens to the soul right after death?
Yeah, that immediate transition. We're focusing specifically on the Islamic perspective, drawing from sources that give a surprisingly detailed account of this time, this intermediate period between passing and the day of resurrection.
So our mission really is to map out that journey step by step based on what these sources tell us about this, well, unknown state.
Exactly, a roadmap. But it's crucial to remember something. The sources themselves stress humility. We're given, general knowledge, quite detailed in parts, but the full picture, that belongs only to God.
Absolutely, a necessary perspective to keep in mind. Okay, so where does this journey begin according to the sources? It starts right at the edge, doesn't it? The soul leaving the body.
That's the starting point. The angel of death takes the soul. But there's a really critical distinction made straight away. It's about suffering, the pain, the agony, the illness we might see before death. That's separate from how the soul actually exits.
Ah, okay, so the visible struggle isn't necessarily the soul's experience of leaving.
Precisely. Think about the prophet himself, peace be upon him. There are accounts of him wiping his face with water near the end, saying death has agony. But that's understood as the physical toll of dying, the illness, not the sensation of the soul being, extracted.
Got it. That's a key difference. So if that visible agony isn't the indicator, what is the experience of the soul's departure like? The sources give contrasting pictures, right?
Very contrasting. For the believer, it's described with this image of absolute peace, serenity.
How so?
The analogy used is that the soul leaves like a drop coming out of a water container, softly and nicely and without any pain. Just smooth, effortless almost, like it's ready to go.
Wow, okay. That's a very gentle image. Release, not struggle.
Exactly. But for the disbeliever,
Mm-hmm.
it's the polar opposite. The imagery is frankly quite harsh, violent even.
What's the analogy there?
It's described like, imagine a metal rod, but it's covered in thorns, and it's stuck deep inside wet wool. Now, try pulling that rod out.
Oof. Yeah, it would catch and tear everything.
Right, it tears the wool parts. That tearing, that resistance, that's the feeling described for the disbeliever's soul being extracted. It signifies a soul clinging, unwilling, being forcefully separated. That's where the immediate spiritual pain is said to lie.
So a stark contrast right from the very first moment. Effortless release versus a violent tearing. What happens next, once the soul is out?
The journey begins instantly. Angels take the soul. And again, the experience diverges dramatically.
Okay, let's follow the believer's path first. Where do they go?
Upwards. A kind of ascent. The sources say the believer's soul travels all the way up to the seventh heaven.
The seventh heaven, wow. But wait, you mentioned Barzakh, the intermediate state often associated with the grave. Why the ascent so high if the soul ultimately waits elsewhere until resurrection?
That's a great question. It seems the ascent isn't just about travel. It's about confirmation, validation.
Like a celestial reception.
Kind of, yeah. As the soul goes up through each heaven, angels notice this beautiful scent, a spiritual fragrance. They ask, who is this wonderful soul?
So it's announced?
Yes, they're told, this is so-and-so, son of so-and-so. And the angels in each heaven, they offer greetings, salam. They praise the soul. It's like a public divine acknowledgement of their righteousness. Reaching the seventh heaven solidifies that before the soul returns for its waiting period.
Okay, that makes sense. A confirmation before the waiting. Now, the disbeliever, I imagine it's not quite the same welcome.
Not at all. It's immediate rejection. Their soul only makes it to the lowest heaven, the first one, and it goes no further.
Blocked right at the entrance, essentially.
Exactly. And instead of a beautiful scent, the angels encounter an awful odor, a terrible spiritual stench.
And their reaction?
Judgment. Instead of praise, they nickname the soul using the worst names associated with its life on earth, and they actively curse it. It's a very public, very immediate condemnation.
So this journey through the heavens, whether high or halted, serves as this immediate cosmic verdict. Then what? Where do the souls go after this?
Right. After this heavenly encounter, the welcome or the rejection comes the command regarding the intermediate state. This brings us back down, conceptually, to Barzakh.
Can you briefly explain Barzakh again for listeners?
Sure. Barzakh is essentially that in-between phase, the time, the state, the realm between death and the final day of resurrection. It's often called the grave, but it applies even if someone wasn't physically buried. It's the waiting place.
But not just passive waiting, as you said.
Definitely not passive. And how the souls get to this state differs too.
Following the pattern, I assume.
Yes. The believer's soul having been welcomed and confirmed up in the seventh heaven, receives a command from God. The angel of death is told to gently take the soul back down.
Back to the grave, or the place of Barzakh.
Correct. To rest comfortably until the day of judgment. The reward is confirmed. Now comes a peaceful wait.
And the disbeliever. No gentle return, I'm guessing.
No. After being stopped and cursed at the lowest heaven, there's no escort back. The sources say the soul is simply dropped.
Dropped from the lowest heaven, dropped down to its grave. The wording is stark. It would smash upon arrival. The punishment starts immediately, even in the return to the place of waiting. A violent entry into Barzakh.
Wow. Okay, so now they're in Barzakh, this intermediate state. What is that experience like? It's the final stage before the resurrection, but you said it's polarized.
Completely. For the believer, the sources describe it as a place of ongoing comfort and preview of reward.
How specifically?
This is fascinating detail. It says a window is opened in their grave, a window looking directly into paradise.
A literal window.
Oh my God.
The description implies something quite tangible. Through this window comes the breeze, the coolness, the beauty, even the scent of paradise. The grave itself is said to expand, become spacious and pleasant. The soul would enjoy his day. It's like getting a constant direct feed of the reward to come.
That image of the window. It's powerful. It makes eternity feel very close, very immediate, even in that waiting period.
It does. It bridges the gap. But of course, if there's a window to paradise for the believer...
There's a window to hellfire for the disbeliever.
Precisely. God commands that a window facing hellfire be opened in the disbeliever's grave. Instead of coolness and beauty, they get the heat, the torment, the sights and sounds, the spiritual anguish radiating from it.
Constantly.
Constantly. And instead of the grave expanding, it constricts. It tightens around them. This torment continues relentlessly until the day of judgment. So consequences are immediate, personal, and sustained right there in Barzakh. So if we piece it all together, the soul's exit, gentle or tearing, the journey, welcome descent or blocked rejection, and then this very specific Barzakh experience with the window. What's the underlying message here about accountability in these sources?
I think the overwhelming message is the immediacy of it all. Accountability isn't deferred entirely until some distant future judgment day. It kicks off the second life ends.
Yeah, it seems like a continuous process. Exactly. Every single step. The extraction, the angelic reception, the state in the grave confirms the soul's path. It's like the verdict is delivered instantly, and the experience of that verdict, reward or punishment, begins right away. This is, roughly speaking, the state of affairs for everyone until that final resurrection.
Which brings us to a final thought for you, the listener, to perhaps reflect on. It comes back to that image, the window in the grave. Think about what that implies. Paradise or hellfire isn't just a concept waiting far off in the future. According to these sources, a connection, a direct view, is established immediately in that intermediate state. The eternal is literally perceived from within the temporal confines of Barzakh.
Yeah, the boundary seems incredibly thin.
Right. It makes you consider the nature of time, space, and eternity described here, how the consequences of life aren't just eventual, but intimately and instantly connected to what lies beyond, even during that waiting period. Something profound to think about.
Indeed. A very detailed map of the immediate afterlife, according to these sources. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
We'll see you next time.